Hi, so we're still here in MonoDevelop, and what we've done in the last lesson is got our character to face left and right by just flipping the vector 3 values of the local scale. So we had created face right and face left vector 3s, and the only difference between them is that the x-axis of facing left is -1, and that just kind of mirrors everything that we've got contained within that character. So now what we're going to do is use the Rigidbody2D component to handle moving through space. So I'm just going to go here below our face right line here and our input if statement there, and say my or b, right? So that's the variable that we've used for this game object's rigidbody component, Rigidbody2D component. My or b dot velocity is equal to a new vector2 variable, and so vector2 only takes an x and a y parameter. You can see there, if I go to the overrides for this, that it's looking for two floats, x and y. So we want it to move on our x-axis, and we've already got that, right? So we want the animator move speed to dictate what that is, right? So we want to move to a point where we're doing as little editing in script as possible, and let the visual tools of the editor be where we play around with all this stuff. So I don't know if 5 and 10 are the right walk and run speeds, but I want to be changing it and experimenting with it along with my animation. So that's why I would put in controls like that here. So the variable that we're using is reading it from our animator. So it's going to be my animator move speed. That's going to be our x value. So our character to move left and right is going to be my animator move speed. And our y parameter is going to just be whatever the y property of the velocity already is. So that'll be my or b dot velocity dot y, and that'll because that's being affected by the gravity variable that's inside of our Rigidbody2D component. So just a semicolon and then to end the line, and that'll move our character through space. So I'm going to copy that and paste it down here underneath our face left line here, and we also want to flip our movement through space as well as just flip our graphics around. So I'm going to just say it's minus my animator move speed, so it just moves negatively on the x-axis, and we'll leave that as it is because it's still going to, gravity still points down and so on. So I'll just save that, Control S there on my keyboard, and back into Unity. And now if I press play, my left and right keys, or my A and D keys, will allow my character to move through space. Now, as you can see, she's still playing the same idle animations. So we have to get we've accessed and used the Rigidbody component from within our script. Now we want to access the animator component and actually trigger some of these. So let's have a look here, right? In our animator component, you can see that we've used move speed already, but we've also got this move pressed Boolean value here, and that is being used, if you remember, to trigger our walks and run animations, right? So you can see here that on the transition from stand to walk, the condition for playing that animation is that move pressed is true. So we've got to set that to be true somewhere in order to change this value and get us out of our idle animations. So let's go back to MonoDevelop here, and just here in our moving right, we'll say my animator, or so yeah, my animator dot set bool. You can see that you can set floats and set ints and set triggers as well, right? So set bool, open parentheses there, and it's I'll use the second override again, where you set this by name, right? So so our name of our parameter is move pressed, lowercase m, uppercase p, and I'm going to say move pressed is true. Close parentheses, semicolon to end the line. And that's actually going to be the same if we're moving left or right. So it's going to play the walk or run animation accordingly. And this line here is going to determine whether it's, or well, these lines will determine whether we flipped all of our sprites around. So I'm just going to save that again and back to Unity. And now if I press play, we should see the transitions light up and move as we go left and go right. And then she runs and falls off. So we don't actually have anything in there yet for a condition for what happens when we let go of our animations. And as you can see, when she jumps off a hill, she moves really, really far out in the air. So actually I can fix that first. If I just click on Sapper here, I did say this when we were in Photoshop at the beginning, that even though we've scaled up our graphics, we're using this 100 units or 100 pixels to 1 unit grid ratio. And that means then that she's 4 meters tall, so double the height of a person. So we would, one quick way to get around this is to double the speed of our gravity. I actually think that if accuracy is not that important to you and you're using like cartoon character graphics and so on, you can afford to exaggerate it a bit further. So I'm just going to make our gravity scale 6, and I'm going to just try that again. Let her run from the top of the hill. So she climbs up the hill and she sticks to the ground a bit better when she's running down. And when she falls off the edge, she falls off. But she doesn't skate and she doesn't go back to idle. So I have to put in something here to say if our if statements are if none of these things are pressed. Actually, this should be an else if here, because you can't be above and below 0 at the same time. So I'm gonna just underneath this if statement say else. So if neither of those things are true, we'll just say close the curly brackets as well, because I always forget to do that. My animator dot set bool, and it's going to be put it in quotes because it's just the name of the parameter. Reading it as a string is going to be false. End the line. So if I save that then and go back to Unity, now when I play it, if I let go of my keys, she'll go back to idle. And if she's running and I let go, she'll skid and come to a halt. Okay, so what we've done in that lesson now is as well as changing gravity, we have linked up our rigid body and our animator with our own C# script, and we can communicate freely between them. So, see you in the next lesson.